What is going on? What is going on? Wednesday. I know I said yesterday I was going to talk about my second favorite state, Texas, about the interesting things that they have transpiring with the Democrats seemingly leaving the state so that they seemingly couldn't hold the session to vote on the voting rights or Jim Crow 2.0, depending on what side of the fence you're on. I was going to talk about that, but something else came across the docket today that I wanted to touch on, right? So, obviously, last year was a very trying year for multiple reasons. COVID, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, the list goes on and on and on. So, the governor of Florida, if you know, or if you did not know, they seemingly passed legislation as what they called an anti-riot bill, which the language in it specifically talked about seemingly that if protests turned violent, people would be charged with Class C felonies. Also in that was that you cannot block a highway. And in the scenario where a person is driving a car and seemingly runs into protesters, they will not be at fault because you're not supposed to be blocking the highway. So what we have now is a interesting situation. Now, I haven't been keeping up with the Cuba situation for a multitude of years. It may be something I want to study a little bit more in depth because similar to a lot of other things, we've been told certain things, right? Certain things dating back to the Castro regime and the entire situation in which Cubans fled Cuba and went to Miami. The largest placement of Cubans are in Miami, right? So what transpired in response to the hardships that are transpiring on the island of Cuba right now, there were some protesters that seemingly blocked off a major highway in Miami. So I saw a article that was seemingly titled, well, does this particular protest, them blocking the highway, does that constitute the anti-riot bill that passed earlier this year in response to riots revolving around the George Floyd situation, Breonna Taylor situation, all these particular situations seemingly in a nutshell. Does it qualify, for people that are out there to be charged with Class C felonies, right? So the article, it really didn't answer the question. By the letter of the law, they should. But the governor, who is of Cuban descent himself, made a statement, paraphrasing it, basically stated that the situation with the protesters in Miami are completely different than the protesters that were protesting just last summer. Now, one of the key things about it was that the article did speak about that there was little to no violence that took place in Florida, because some of the provisions that were in the particular bill were that, there would obviously, if you damage personal property, businesses and stuff like that, you're going to be, given the full extent of the law, which obviously is a Class C felony. But seeing that there was little to no violence in Florida in comparison to other states, when the bill was seemingly passed with flying colors, many of the Democrats felt that this was a indictment this was a taken away from your constitutional rights, right, within this particular country, which is your First Amendment. So the governor, again, like I said, stated that these two particular issues are different. Said that the issues that are transpiring in Cuba are a rights issue. A rights issue. Rights that people are not afforded. Whereas over here in America, the same cannot be said. Okay. I mean, if that's the side of the fence that you want to be on, I mean, you go right ahead and be on that side of the fence. I personally feel like it's a bunch of BS, personally, because you made the law in response to African Americans, because I would not utter the name of that ignorant organization that, has capitalized off of the black community. Will never utter those words. But now you have a situation that's, going right on. So I saw that, that celebrities said that they were going to get food, get guns, and these particular things like this. And so I said, okay. And so they're saying that the Biden administration, they need to do something about it, and all of this particular stuff like this. And I'm sitting back and I'm listening and I'm watching, because I have to see what the response is going to be. And I'm not even shocked. I'm not surprised, because for you to come out and say this is a rights issue and that's going on in Cuba and stuff like that, and seemingly try to say that these are not rights issues within the particular state, within the states, whereas we have a civil rights bill that was passed and has been amended multiple times to incorporate each and every person but the group of people that it was supposedly drafted for has not benefited from it the way that it should be. And again, it's civil rights. So to say that the murder of George Floyd, the murder of Breonna Taylor, and countless other murders by the hands of not just police, but of other things, are not rights issues, is it's a slap in the face, first of all, but also to the same extent, I can't expect for you because the article made note that his family immigrated from Cuba. So I can't expect you to sympathize with what's going on, because you have your own issues based on, your background that you're dealing with. And the biasness, which everybody's biased, irregardless of what everyone says, you're biased. Everyone is biased to an extent, and you let your bias come out, because that answer that you gave, that answer does not hold up. Because by the drafting of the bill that you signed off on, these people are in direct violation of this. So if someone was coming down the freeway of the road that they have blocked off and they hit somebody, which you shouldn't hit protesters, but that's a different discussion. But they're not supposed to be out there. The article went on to touch on that authorities are monitoring the situation. They went so far as to redirect traffic so that they can have the road blocked off, because they're blocking the road off as a way of bringing more attention to this. So I'm like, this is Florida. Everything is a state-by-state case. It'd be easy to say that, well, if this is the situation, then we should, block the road off. But it's one of those things, and it's just the way that the article was written. Maybe the article was somewhat biased, but I felt like they were shooting from the hip. I feel like that it wasn't biased in one way. It was kind of one of those situations, was kind of straight down the line. But it was just that it was almost alluding to the fact that we're talking about a group of people, African Americans, that they do this all the time. Right? I do this all the time. So we have to put provisions in place, because y'all are going to burn stuff up. Y'all going to burn stuff down. Y'all going to say, let it burn. Y'all going to destroy the community. Right? That's what y'all are going to do. Whereas my people, the Cuban people, we know how to go out there, assemble peacefully, get our point across, and not incite a riot. It will remain a protest, but it will not turn into a physical, violent riot. That's what I took away from what you said. Now, I don't know how the Floridians, as they refer to them, I don't know how some of the black Floridians feel about that. I could care less what the Democrats feel about it. I could care less what the Republicans feel about it. But I just want to know, if you're a black resident of Florida, and this is the representative of your state, and I'll be transparent. I'm in a red state as well. The governor of this state has made some statements that are egregious, but this is just trying to walk back something that you said. I mean, it's on paper. What's that song? I've been singing that song all day. Put it on paper. I don't know whose song it is, but put it on paper. Y'all put this on paper, and now when it's time to enforce the law, it's not being enforced. And I don't like being the person, I try to be devil's advocate about a lot of things. I don't want to be the person that says, well, if those were black people out there, they would have came out there. I don't like being that person, I don't like being that person. But, you do the math. You do the math, right? So that's all I got for today, man. I saw that, and then I saw what he said, and I'm like, so you're basically saying that it's okay for these people to do this, but if another certain group in particular takes part in something like this, we come in lock and barrel. You're going to jail. So I don't know. What do y'all think? Do you feel that the people that are protesting, blocking off the freeway, should they be arrested and charged with Class C felonies that fall under what the bill said they should be charged with? What do y'all think? Me, yes. Arrest them. Y'all in direct violation. Y'all are breaking a law. Y'all are not being law-abiding citizens. Right? I'm gonna do like some of the other folks say. There's a right way to do things, and that's just not the right way to do it. I'm being honest though. All jokes aside, I'm being honest. That's what they say. There's different ways that you can do this. All right? So it is what it is. But anyway, I'll see y'all tomorrow, man. And be on the lookout for the podcast tomorrow. Be on the lookout for the podcast. Dropping 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. Peace.